Of all the battles that have been taking place in history, the Battle of Kringen is one that has always interested me. In 1612, Norway was in a bitter war with Sweden, and the war was called the Kalmar War. Sweden had called upon Scotland to help aid them, and Scotland ended up aiding them. They sent over about 300 soldiers or more to help the Swedes, but Norway had found out about this and was going to try to stop them. The Scots were headed by Alexander Ramsay, a well-known Scottish general, and during the meeting at Town Hall of the town of Ada, Norway, a sheriff of Ada, Lars Gram, burst in through a door and yelled, "Gev jod fienden arkom de landet," or "Let it be known the enemy has come to our land." With that, he rallied together about 500 militiamen and formed a plan. The next day, on August 26th, 1612, the Scots came through the area. Now this is all taking place in Ada, Norway. Now what's unique about this area is that the only way to get through it is by way of a pass called the Kringen Pass, which is next to a river. What Lars and his makeshift army did was pretty much genius. As the Scots were contemplating going around the pass, a girl came around the corner of the pass. Now this was no ordinary girl. Her name was Juri, and she was considered by many to be the most beautiful girl in all of Norway. She was right in the middle of the pass and beckoning the soldiers to come with them. Suddenly, a drunken man also came around the corner, shouting, "We have 100 men with swords and shields. We will crush you." Now, the Scots had over 300 men and muskets, and they had crossbows as well. So they thought that, hey, if there was 100 men, they would easily defeat them, and they'd be on their way. So they started tracing after the drunk man and Juri, who was teasing the men and drawing them even farther down the path. Just then, Juri blew a horn and ran for cover. At that instant, hundreds and hundreds of Norwegian militiamen appeared at the top of a cliff of the pass and started rolling boulders and logs at the startled Scots. Not only that, but on both sides of the pass, militia also appeared wielding muskets and crossbows. Not what the Scots had expected of swords and shields. Now, what happened next was basically a slaughter. They massacred almost all the Scots and took only a few and held them for ransom, including Alexander Ramsay. At the end of the battle, 285 Scots were dead, while only 15 Norwegian militia died. A notable officer that died was Sir George Sinclair of the Sinclair clan. He played a major part during the war. Now, this battle is very important to me because I'm a direct descendant of Lars Gram, who was the leader of the militia at Kringen Pass. My great-grandfather's name is Eric Gram, and his father's name was Lars, in commemoration of the general. Next, this battle shares similarities with Hannibal and the Romans in the Battle of Lake Trasimene. Now, Hannibal drew the Romans into a confined area next to a lake, ambushed them, and just completely decimated them. Now, the Norwegians drew in the Scots, ambushed them, and decimated them as well. Now, today, the Battle of Kringen is considered to be a symbol of Norwegian resistance. And if I were the Scots, I wouldn't have marched through Norway at all. Now, at the time of their passing, they decided to massacre an entire town. The slaughter of Njag Lodos enraged the Norwegians and just made them even angrier and more out for revenge. Now, these Viking descendants were out for blood, and blood they got. A lesson to be learned here is that you should always be on the lookout and never to enrage the enemy to the extent that they want to rip you limb from limb. Finally, Lars wanted the least amount of militia dead, so he placed his troops high up on the cliff so he could strike from afar, first with boulders and logs, and next with muskets and crossbows. It was a genius idea, and Lars used it to full effect, as you can see with only 15 dead and 285 Scots just completely obliterated. Now, in conclusion, the Battle of Kringen was an important historical battle for the Norwegian spirit. To this day, Norwegians use this battle to remember when the great Viking country fought back against invaders and taught them a valuable lesson. Thank you.